What is going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadski, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. And in today's video, we're going to do a little bit of a discussion video regarding this little tease that is going to be coming here for Treasure Cruise June 9th, which is Monday. It says Japan time, I think. June 9th? Yeah, so 9th at 7 p.m. PST. So it's going to be Tuesday for most people, but everyone else in the United States and stuff, it's going to be on the 9th. So, yeah, news time on the 9th. We're going to be live streaming, of course, to see this full event. For those of you, by the way, I haven't been uploading over the last couple of days. Came up with some really weird illness. I still have it. Just trying to deal with it right now. So videos may slow down, just saying that. I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to be able to get the Legends of OPTC up this week. Hopefully we can do that. Anyways, let's get back to this. Let's get back to the important information. So, yeah, 11th anniversary. This is the final part of the celebration, by the way. Once this SUGO Fest drops, this is pretty much going to be like the last hurrah of this celebration. So this is going to be the last Super SUGO Fest. The next big event after this period is going to be One Piece Day, most likely. One Piece Day should be like the first week of August / final week of July is typically when it is. Like, the actual day for One Piece Day is July 22nd, but sometimes the Treasure Cruise does events a little bit after it, so we'll wait and see. But anyway, like late July, early August is when the next big event should be. So this event right here is very interesting because they do give us a little bit of a tease in regards to what is to come. So they showed this little map right here. Now, for those who are unaware, this right here is God Valley. 110%. The island is the exact same. And then you got this little landmass over here. It's the exact same. Literally, this is God Valley. So what we're going to do today is we're going to discuss what are the potential options that we could see for character releases during this celebration. Now, obviously, this should be going on from the One Piece anime that has been occurring over the last few weeks. God Valley has been shown quite heavily during this celebration, during the whole anime episodes that have been airing throughout May. So let's discuss what we can actually see. Now, to be honest, I feel like there is one character in particular that I feel like is like a given, is going to be in the celebration. And as much as I don't really care for this character at the much right now, because we have had a lot of big celebrations with this character as a headliner unit, I feel like it is a given that it's going to be Goldie Roger in some capacity. I feel like young Roger at God Valley, it feels like it's a shoo-in at this point. And I feel like if they do go ahead and bring us, you know, this celebration with this guy as the headliner unit, I don't think that many people would be upset about that. I think it would be a pretty decent pick, honestly, and I think that a lot of people would want to be jumping into this SUGO Fest to get a young Roger. Depending on how they do it, though, whether it be a young Roger by himself with, you know, his crewmates as rare recruits, or they go down the route of making it like another potential dual unit where it's like Roger and Rayleigh Gaban, like what we've already had before that came out late last year. Or they could make it like a fake dual unit where the one unit has Roger, Rayleigh Gaban as one singular character that doesn't have switching or anything like that. All of those options I feel like could happen. If I had to pick what would be the best option, Solo Roger I think would be the best option, to be honest. That would make the most sense. And, I mean, in terms of what they could do, I mean, you know, in this celebration, we've had a lot of slasher-related support. Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji have been slasher-focused. Kizaru, slasher-focused. Obviously, in part 2 of the celebration with Saint J. Garcia Satin, hasn't really made a lot of sense to have a slasher unit to support him. So, I do feel like this would be, like, the quote-unquote good guy support, and then we have, like, a quote-unquote bad guy support as a secondary release. The thing is as well, is that this SUGO Fest will coincide with the next Treasure Map event. So whatever characters come out during this big celebration are likely going to be boosted in that event, and that's just kind of how it's going to be, right? So are they going to do double Super SUGO Fest exclusives? I honestly don't think they will, considering part 2 of the celebration only featured one Super SUGO Fest and one normal legend. I am going to assume that it's going to be the same thing here, where we have one unit that's a Super SUGO Fest exclusive, and we have a secondary unit that is a non-Super SUGO Fest exclusive. But I do think Roger Rayleigh Gaban, in some capacity, is probably the most likely release for this part of the celebration. But that's not all. Let's go ahead and move on. You might have to zoom in so you guys can actually see this one. We have Garp. Now, Garp was obviously a big part of God Valley, and I do think that having a new version of Legend Garp would be awesome. They let us down heavily with the release of Galaxy Impact Garp late last year. That character should have been a lot better than what he was. Obviously was very good in PvP, but I do think that a new version of Garp would be pretty hype. Another reason why this would be good is because he would be a Navy character tag unit, which means he would synergize with Kizaru, and he would synergize with Saint J. Garcia Saturn. So I do hope that if they do go down the route of introducing a new Legend Garb that's a Navy unit, I hope that he is a striker-focused unit or a driven-focused unit, so that it can actually synergize really well with J. Garcia Saturn, because that unit needs all the help that he can get right now. So any new Navy units that are int, driven, striker are going to be amazing for that unit. So I sincerely hope this unit is going to be a unit that can synergize with him, if they end up bringing this guy out as a new unit, right? Potentially he could be even like the free-to-play treasure map character throughout this event, but considering Garp is such a major focal point of God Valley, I feel like it would make a lot of sense if he was going to be featured in the SUGO Fest in some capacity. I feel like it just makes a ton of sense. Shout out to my man Bogard as well. But I do think Garp would be a pretty awesome release during this part. What they could do, which would be like really left field, but would make a ton of sense, but I don't think that they would do it, would be a dual unit of Roger and Garp. I think if they did a dual unit of these two units, that would be pretty exciting. I think a lot of people would be pretty pumped about that. Even though dual units personally are not my favorite thing in the world, introducing a dual unit of these two characters together, I think would be pretty hype, all things considered. So I do think that that is a pretty decent chance of happening, whether it be Garp, Roger. I do think Garp will be in this celebration in some way. Now, moving on to this, we have the Rox Pirates. Now, obviously, Rox has not even been physically shown in the anime. Yes, we've had his silhouette, but we don't actually physically know what he looks like. So I don't think we're going to get Rox as a character. But if they bring us a crew gang unit, where it's like all of these units featured in one character, where you have Big Mom, Whitebeard, Shiki, Kaido, Captain John, Stussy, Gloriosa, all of these characters in one unit, I think would be pretty awesome. Albeit though, it means that you can't, so if you run a character such as this on your team, it means you can't run another Big Mom, you can't run another Kaido, so that there's always downsides to having characters that are featuring many units at once, but at the same time, it does mean you can use a lot of different support characters on these types of units. And this would also mean if they brought out a character such as this character would have amazing synergy with the Dex Roger that came out during the 10th anniversary celebration. He is a one-tap super tandem that can synergize with a Big Mom, a Kaido, a Whitebeard, so that would actually work perfectly with him. But I do think that a character such as this, I don't think this is insanely likely, but having some of these characters featured in this celebration, I think would make some sense. I would like to see a character like this sometime in the future. Maybe once we get more information on Rox in the future, maybe that could happen. But I feel like that these characters debuting in this celebration, like, I don't think it would be much of a surprise. It would be pretty cool if we got something like this, but I just think that featuring Roger makes a lot more sense, honestly speaking. Now, the final character that I wanted to talk about is the #1 unit that I want to see in this celebration. Not only because I do think the character is cool as hell, but it would be an amazing synergy with another character that we got in this celebration, obviously being Saturn. And that character would be Figureland Garling. I think if we got this, it would be amazing. This would be my #1 choice as either a Super SUGO Fest exclusive or a normal legend. I think best case scenario, this is the Super SUGO Fest exclusive because the character would be a higher power level. If this character is relegated to being a normal SUGO Fest exclusive, he's not going to be as powerful, but it is still going to be cool because he is going to be a Celestial Dragon. He's going to be 99 cost. He's going to have the Celestial Dragon tag, which would synergize with J. Garcia Saturn. And he's probably going to be Driven Slasher, would be my guess. And if that was the case, it would, again, have great synergy with Saturn. But we need more Celestial Dragons in the game. And this guy would be pretty cool to feature. I think a lot of people would be excited about this one. Even if you didn't get your hands on Saturn specifically in part 2 of the celebration, bringing this character out right now that has great abilities, that synergizes really well with Saturn, would honestly kind of, not really force people, but it would kind of promote the Saturn SUGO Fest way better if you have another character that can already synergize with him. And I would love to see Figureland Garling as the featured unit of this celebration for part 3, but I don't think the chances of him appearing here are that high, just because Roger is so much more popular of a character. I just think that it makes sense that he's going to be featured here. Even Garp, I feel like, is more popular. But Figureland Garling is the character that I want to see in this celebration. But let me know, guys, down below in the comment section, who do you want to see in this upcoming celebration of the Part 3 SUGO Fest for the 11th anniversary? June 9th at 1900 PST time is when they're going to officially reveal the character or characters. So we are obviously going to be live streaming our initial reaction to all of this, and hopefully we get some good stuff. But that is going to wrap it up from me. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. On that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.